in the game that should feel like the game 7 of the play-in tournament, because realistically it is. The Chicago Bulls find themselves rolling into Miami to play the Miami Heat without Jimmy Butler. Let's talk about three keys to this potential victory that we absolutely need to see the Bulls put out and more. Let's get into it. Listen, if you're new to the channel, it's your boy Pkidd. Skip the intro. You know who I am. You know what we do. Windy City Breeze, Chicago Bulls Breeze. We're here. Let's talk about this. The Chicago Bulls find themselves in a push for the playoffs, and the road to this has never been easier. The reason I say that is because we all know that Jimmy Butler will not be available for the Miami Heat in today's game. MCL sprain in the last game he played. That actually hinders them a lot. And for me, this not only takes away a lot of trepidation I had about this game, it even makes it I'm already preparing for Boston. Now, again, not putting the cart before the horse. We do have to make it through this game. But it seems to be something that has made itself a lot easier. Now, still three things that we need to do. One, first and foremost, Billy needs to actually coach his butt off. I have to give Billy credit for this. Billy Donovan has done a better job coaching. Just is what it is. The way he's put out his rotations, the way he's actually handled this rotation, this lineup in the last couple games, I have to say, best thing I've seen him do. Now, to kind of go neck hand in hand with that, the players themselves have actually produced. You can't sit there and have one without the other. Billy Donovan's lineups may have worked if he had gotten better production out of them earlier. That's why I can't necessarily put everything on Billy, but I have been someone who's been very critical of Billy, simply because just a lot of the things I've always wondered, especially late game, what made you go with that? Like, that's just always been my talk. Like, what are you doing? But I have to give credit where credit is due. Lately, it's kind of come together. Maybe that gives more credit to the continuity thing that AK was talking about. Now, I know that that's going to be like a buzzword that we use from time to time, but I mean, it is what it is. And you have to, again, give credit where credit is due. Seems to be working out. Now, another thing that has to happen, we can't have poor shooting nights from everyone else. There's been nights where Kobe White has been like 3 of 17 and things of that nature. That can't happen today. Like, we need that. Whatever you did to be Kobe White 40-point last game, we need that this game. And we also need the rest of the team to kind of keep up as well. Ayo took those matchups. He actually has been driving to the cup. Now, second half of the season, he's been doing a lot of that. But again, when you're talking about young players and you're talking about these moments where you can have this ebb and flow of things, you need some consistency. So we need consistency in that respect. We need to see those players actually not only step up, but lean in to the fact that you're him. Be him. Be him in the biggest moment. Because like last game was do or die. But for this time, for real, it is do or die. This is ultimately the game that's going to matter. Like, this is your playoff spot. Now, is anyone enthused about playing the Boston Celtics? No. I don't think that we're going to beat the Boston Celtics if we make it. But I want us to compete. And using that experience for our young guys puts us exactly where the Boston Celtics were many years ago, where their young guys were just competing. You didn't have them winning. You didn't have them going far. They eventually did. But they didn't win. Heck, they still haven't won anything. So it's really one of those things where you want your young guys to get reps. You want them to actually have these high-pressure moments, and they have to be in these high-pressure moments to get that experience. That's what I want for the Bulls. That's why I want us to moonwalk Miami and get there. So that's two. We have to have consistency there so that we can build the experience to continue to build out the team. And then you're having real conversations as to whether or not it's right to build around Kobe White, if he's the guy or if it's just one good season. Again, you don't become the guy. The moment you start to elevate your game and become the guy to the public can happen in the season. But it also takes consistency to remain the guy. Because there's a bunch of people I can name, just like there is a bunch of players I can name that had a great 1 or 2 seasons. And then you're like, what the heck happened to that guy? We want to make sure that we're just not doing that for Kobe White or Ayo and things of that nature. But again, they have to have the experience to even have that opportunity to vet that out. So, looking for that. Number 3, rebounding. The one thing Miami does well is they grind it out for sure. Right? You call that a pause move if you want to, but there's no team like a team in the NBA like Miami. You talk about a team that's willing to grind it out with you. I mean, talking about push, pull, do whatever we have to do to ultimately get to this point where you have to see me. Hey, if there's a rebound to be made, somebody in the Heat jersey is getting that rebound. If there's a play to be made, somebody in the Heat jersey is trying to make that play, and they've been having some extreme success. Mind you, Jimmy is the catalyst to a lot of this. But mind you, a lot of these people have been there. They've built that synergy together. If you think they're not going to come out with a vengeance to actually get in a situation where they can have Jimmy back so they can continue their playoff run, you got another thing coming. This team is scrappy. This team has shooters. This team has a lot of shooters. And that's the one thing that does still matter. That's the one thing that does concern me is, are we able to match their level of intensity? So if I made that mistake earlier, is three is, hey, can we match their intensity? Can we keep that up throughout the course of this? Because that is actually what's going to matter realistically. You have to be able to match that level of intensity all the entire game, all 4 quarters, because they are coming. They are coming to come. They are pause. They are coming to really wreak havoc on your entire game plan. And they do so by being more conditioned than you are, being more disciplined than you are. Like, whatever you thought about the Spurs for the last 20 years, leading up until before they kind of fell off, whatever. But for 20 years, the Spurs were very methodical, more disciplined, mentally tough. They were ready for these moments. Miami's that team now. Miami's that team that if you put them in a high pressure situation, I do believe that for the most part they're more mentally tough than most teams. I do believe that they are more conditioned, better conditioned than most teams. They just always seem to be in the thick of it. They are missing one or two players to get them to the ultimate goal of championship. But if you ask me about best teams, especially regular season, Miami's always been one of them from that aspect. I tend to count them out, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're like 10 games over 500, and it's like they just won't go away. That is Miami. I have to give them that. That is who they are, and you can't do anything about it. But you have to match that level of intensity. You have to commit to the game like they've committed to the game, or you're going to find yourself swept out of you. You're going to find yourself in the way. And that's the one thing the Bulls have not done consistently. We've shown games where we've just moonwalked people. We are just dominating people. And then we come out the next game, we're very lackadaisical. We've had games where we've been very ferocious. We've been very aggressive. And then the next game we're playing as if like we're playing like kitty cats out here. What are we doing? Like, we've had games like that. And so this is one of the things where if we can match their intensity, we will be better. We have the opportunity to win. We have, I think, the right people who can get this done. But I don't want to sit there and make it seem as if Miami is just going to lay down and roll out into the off season. Jaime Jaquez is coming to his own. Tyler Hero is definitely coming to his own. Duncan Robinson is definitely coming to his own again. They still have Bam, who's still a threat, and Scary Terry is still. They still have a formidable lineup that is still a good matchup for us. This is not going to be easy, but I do believe the Bulls can prevail. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear whether or not you believe the Bulls got it. If you're watching this Bull channel, you better believe we got it. Because if not, go ahead and unfollow. Don't even worry about it. I ain't even worry about you. But give me your thoughts. Give me your keys to a victory in the comments. I'll be in there with you. Till next time. Peace.